Hey, Westside, this is Pastor Dave. I'm the discipleship pastor here, and we are in this formation series, which is really exciting. And as we've been kind of sitting with this and preparing it, reminded me of a time Noelle, my wife, and I used to go on these walks for coffee breaks. Our office in San Francisco was right next to this ceramics shop. It's called Heath Ceramics. It's like super popular and really, really expensive. And we would go on our coffee breaks, we'd go on these walks and look at the plates and bowls and teapots and vases and decorative things that these master ceramics people would make. And I want you to imagine for a moment, if you put down a couple $100s for a teapot, handmade at this ceramics shop, and you went to pour your tea and nothing came out. Or you go to pour it and it comes out of everywhere. We would say that this vase or this teapot, this creation, is beautiful, but it is not functioning because it hasn't been formed properly. Formation always precedes function. Formation always precedes function. As it is for those ceramic pieces, so it is for us in our relationship with God and one another. Isaiah 64:8 says, Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay, you are the potter. We all are the work of your hands. And what this is speaking to is the shaping and formation that God does in us so that we might live out the function that he's created us to be as the kingdom bearers of God in the world. We're just coming off of Easter, and we read about, in our Easter service, we read about this moment where Mary Magdalene encounters the risen Christ in the garden. And do you remember what she calls him, what she says to Jesus? She doesn't say, "Oh, Jesus." She doesn't say Lord or healer. She says teacher, Rabboni, teacher. And that's significant. When Jesus goes and he recruits his disciples and says, "Follow me," he doesn't give a speech about how we're going to end homelessness, how we're going to fix all social disorder. He doesn't give a strategic plan. He says, "Follow me, become my disciples." And what that means, and when Mary says teacher, this isn't geometry and how to read and write. This is how do we live in this world. We learn as apprentices from the master. The master forms our interior world, our spirit and our soul, that we might live out our function in the world around us and bring the kingdom of heaven to our neighbors. And so as we get into this, we're going to talk about how our thoughts are formed, how our feelings are formed, our will, our character, our soul, our relationships. All of these things come under the master work of the craftsman of Christ and begin to be formed that we might live into our function, just like that teapot in the ceramic store. And so today, as you sit with this idea, the first place we start is knowing we need a master craftsman. We need formation. Our souls need it. We easily live into disorder, into disformation. And we need the master to come in and bring formation. So today, even as you're listening to this, would you pause wherever you are for a moment and ask the master craftsman to meet you in this moment, that we might be formed into what Luke 10 says is the ultimate life of the Christ follower, that we love God with our heart and our mind and our soul and our strength, and we love our neighbors as ourselves. God will do that by his Spirit as we submit to his formation. God be with you today, church.